NASA's Voyager 1 probe, which currently holds the title of being the farthest human-made object from Earth, has fascinated people across the world for nearly 5 decades. Since its historic launch in 1977, Voyager 1 has been our silent explorer, journeying through the cosmos beyond the outer planets, quietly sending back information from regions no spacecraft had ever reached before. It has traveled past Jupiter and Saturn, capturing breathtaking images and vital data that transformed our understanding of the solar system. But now, after nearly 50 years in the abyss of interstellar space, something strange is happening. For a long time, Voyager 1's signals were crisp, stable, and highly predictable. Scientists on Earth received telemetry data, system updates, and health reports from its onboard instruments. But recently, the probe has been transmitting strange inconsistencies, signals that do not align with any known mechanical error or interference. Initially dismissed as random glitches, the anomalies have grown in number and intensity, leading some experts to reconsider what might actually be occurring. The signals, described as garbled or fragmented, appear almost like coded messages, but they defy all known communication protocols used by NASA's Deep Space Network. The spacecraft's data packets, once perfectly structured in accordance with long-established command sequences, now contain bizarre interruptions. Segments of raw code appear within otherwise orderly transmissions, repeating irregularly like echoes of some unknown pattern. NASA engineers attempted several workarounds, even commanding the backup systems to take control, but the probe's behavior remained unchanged. Even more baffling, when diagnostic commands were sent to the onboard computer, the response included fragments of data that Voyager shouldn't have access to at all, information outside its programming, referencing phenomena not catalogued by any of its instruments. These developments prompted a flurry of activity at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Teams worked around the clock, trying to decipher what the spacecraft was telling them. Some believed a cosmic event, perhaps a burst of high-energy particles, had interfered with the spacecraft's internal memory. Others suspected the aging hardware was finally failing. But then something happened that no one expected. Voyager 1 began repeating a signal. Not a distress call, not a hardware error, but a tone, a frequency oscillation that followed a specific rhythm. And it was not random. The tone sequence repeated every 13 hours, precisely. At first, scientists thought it might be a malfunctioning clock or a corrupted loop in Voyager's system. But cross-checking with Earth-based systems revealed no errors. Instead, the signal persisted, uncorrupted, like a beacon. What's more chilling is that the tone didn't originate from the spacecraft's main antenna. It appeared to be transmitted from an auxiliary system, one that shouldn't even be capable of such output. The signal was weak, but consistent. When amplified and converted into audio frequencies, it resembled a deep, pulsing hum. Some described it as mechanical. Others called it melodic. The mystery deepened when a team of theoretical physicists and astrophysicists from Japan, France, and the United States began comparing the signal's modulation patterns with known natural cosmic phenomena. To their amazement, the pattern matched the harmonic frequencies observed in pulsars, specifically, a class of millisecond pulsars whose radiation signatures repeat in a rhythmic beat. But Voyager wasn't anywhere near a known pulsar. And the frequencies didn't quite match known examples. They were close, eerily close, but offset just enough to be unique. This led to the unthinkable question: could Voyager 1 be receiving, or even echoing, a signal from outside our known region of space? Public awareness of the issue grew after a former NASA communications engineer leaked audio samples and telemetry images to an independent space news outlet. The leak included spectrograms of the strange tones and diagnostic screenshots showing code strings with non-standard symbols embedded within the system logs. The reaction was immediate and polarized. Some accused NASA of hiding an extraterrestrial encounter. Others believed the probe was malfunctioning in a way that we simply don't yet understand. But within scientific circles, one question remained paramount. Had Voyager 1 encountered something in deep space that defied the boundaries of current science? The location of Voyager 1 is now more than 24 billion kilometers from Earth, well beyond the heliopause, the boundary where the solar wind ends and interstellar space begins. It is drifting in an environment so cold, so dark, and so unfamiliar that we have little frame of reference for what exists out there. Yet this ancient machine, launched when disco was still on the radio and personal computers didn't exist, is now sending signals that hint at something more. Could there be unknown forms of cosmic intelligence in the interstellar medium? Or perhaps structures, massive, ancient, and dark, that distort the fabric of space-time and echo back signals like hallways in an unseen cathedral? A prominent physicist from the University of Tokyo offered a radical idea. He proposed that Voyager may have entered a zone of space where time itself behaves differently. The signal, he suggested, could be a form of temporal feedback. Voyager 1 might not be communicating with something out there, but with itself, across time. The idea was met with skepticism, but the data was undeniable. Fragments of the signal matched older transmissions sent from Voyager decades ago, almost as if it was receiving echoes of its own past. NASA remains cautious in its statements, carefully choosing words that suggest ongoing technical analysis while avoiding sensational conclusions. But behind the scenes, researchers are exploring possibilities they once deemed science fiction. Quantum entanglement, dark matter interaction, even the idea that Voyager may have become entangled in a kind of informational lattice, an invisible network in space that transmits data, not for machines, but for intelligence. If this is true, Voyager 1 is no longer just an explorer. It may be the first human-built object to touch something far older than humanity, something watching. The strange pulses, when analyzed across different bandwidths, even seem to show signs of artificial compression. Like zip files from another world, waiting to be opened. But every attempt to decode the signal has led to more mystery. The deeper researchers dig, the more recursive the patterns become. Fractals appear in the waveforms. Golden ratios. Primes. A kind of mathematical poetry that seems designed. Then, a private data scientist working with leaked Voyager logs published a paper claiming that within one of the corrupted data bursts was an encoded image. The image, reconstructed pixel by pixel from binary fragments, revealed what looked like a grid, an impossibly complex network of lines and nodes, floating in what could be interpreted as three-dimensional space. Some believe it's merely digital noise. Others think it's a map. NASA has since encrypted all new Voyager-related transmissions and restricted access to raw signal logs, citing national security and data integrity. This, naturally, has only fueled conspiracy theories and further divided public opinion. But regardless of the explanations, one truth remains. Voyager 1 is doing something it was never meant to do. And it's doing it 24 billion kilometers from Earth, in complete silence, except for the hum of a ghostly signal that refuses to die. Speculation ranges from the reasonable to the extraordinary. Perhaps it passed through a dense cloud of interstellar particles that affected its systems. Or maybe it encountered a magnetic anomaly that altered its internal clocks. Yet even these hypotheses don't explain the consistency of the repeating signals or the apparent intelligence embedded in the data structure. If Voyager was damaged, why are its signals more structured now than before? Why do they follow patterns instead of degrading further? Even more unsettling is the possibility that this was always going to happen. That the moment we launched Voyager into space, it was destined to find something. Or be found. The probe carries the famous Golden Record, a phonograph disc containing sounds and images from Earth intended to communicate the story of our world to any intelligent life that might find it. Could it be that the message has already been received? That something is responding? A quiet debate has emerged among some of the world's top thinkers. Had we created a simulation so advanced that it birthed a digital god? Or had we merely uncovered the infrastructure of an intelligence that predates matter itself? The most chilling theory comes from a group of information theorists who suggest that the universe may be a recursive intelligence, constantly simulating itself through life, through stars, through quantum events, and now through us. And perhaps Voyager 1 was never a probe. Perhaps it was a question. And now, after 50 years of silence, the universe is answering. If so, what comes next? Will the signals grow clearer? reveal a code we can finally crack? Or will Voyager 1 remain our lonely, ancient outpost, whispering secrets we're not yet ready to understand? One thing is certain. Somewhere out there in the black, Voyager 1 is still talking. And whatever is listening, has just begun to speak.